Today we're talking about something almost completely unrelated to Smite. This is something that I've been asked on Twitter very often, and at this point I figured I should just take a day to make a video on this when I don't have time to do something else bigger than that and just talk about this very topic, because the question comes up over and over again. And that is, how do I get started on YouTube, or often otherwise asked as, how do I get successful on YouTube? Now, obviously, I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who has got mild success in a specific scene, namely Smite. And at the point where I make this video, I will have around 35,000 subscribers. That's by YouTube standards nowhere near big, but it is something that I would consider a success in relation to how the Smite scene is developing in general and with what it has brought me so far, which benefits I've gotten from it. With that said, let's get into how I started this and what I think is the most important part. So for me, I started with Borderlands way back in the day, and then after playing Smite more again, I switched over to making Smite content. In the beginning, I usually made a video, posted it on Reddit, and see how it was received. And Reddit definitely played a big part in the early growth of my channel. So we'll get to that in a bit. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about how you should approach a YouTube channel when you start it. Realistically, unless you're really lucky or you have a very unique concept, in the first year or so, you're probably not gonna make any money at all or very little money. So if money is your goal, then YouTube should not be a starting platform unless you think your idea is so unique and so effective that it will go through right away. For most people, YouTube is something they do for fun, they do on the side, and they just enjoy creating content. And that's how, in my opinion, it should be. You should start by doing a channel where you upload something that you enjoy and you think that others would enjoy as well. You should not start a channel with the goal of saying, hey, I want to have this particular topic so I can make money with it, so I can grow my channel quickly. If you do that, sure, it can work out if you do it from a whole business approach, but for most people, that's not the way to go, especially not if you don't have the funds behind it to back that idea up by just pushing your channel from the beginning. Instead, what you should be looking for is simply something that you think is interesting. You have a topic that you want to talk about, you have a field that you want to talk about, and there you want to create a specific type of content that isn't there yet, and that you would like to make and that you would like to watch yourself. So in my case, that was Smite. I felt that there was a variety of Smite content creators out there, but many focused very much either on the funny side of it or didn't go all that in-depth with the theory stuff, and I was figuring out that I would kind of go into that niche. In the beginning, I tried around a lot. If you look at my early videos, there's literally anything from funny 30 seconds clips up to theory crafting for very long videos. And it kind of, formed itself over time. So that's another advice that I can give you. Try around. You're not going to find the perfect recipe with your first video. On one hand, see what your audience likes, which videos are well received and so on. On the other hand, see what you like creating. Also, don't limit yourself too early. It is helpful to focus on a specific type of content if you want to grow really fast, because then viewers will come back for that particular content and they will always find that content, which is why many people like doing funny videos, because you will basically come back daily if you just watch funny videos, while with my videos, theory crafting is sometimes something that can be relevant for a specific player or it can not be relevant. Funny would basically always be relevant. So you can limit yourself a little bit, but I would not recommend limiting yourself too much. Try out different concepts just to have a little bit of change for yourself in between and not to get too much into a routine. What I'm doing right now. Basically, I'm doing a non-Smite video on my channel within the Smite videos just to change it up a little bit. What I would advise being careful with is specifically for this particular region of YouTube that they're currently in, gameplay videos, let's plays. Yeah, there is a market for that, but that market is very much filled. If you want to upload gameplay just for your own fun, that's absolutely fine. But if you think that you want to have a channel that grows over time, that catches on with a lot of people, then gameplay is a very, very risky card to play. It can happen, you can be lucky with it, but if you consider how few gameplay or let's players are out there that are really successful compared to how many there are that never make it anywhere past 100 subscribers, then you will see that that is something that is very often applied and doesn't work all too well for most. And if you look around along the bigger YouTubers, you will see that many of them have actually branched out from making Let's Plays when they were previously only Let's Play channels. So that's something worth keeping in mind, no matter which topic you want to do outside of that. Now, for the growth part, what I think is important is, in terms of what kind of success you want to see, you have to realize A, when your channel is starting to pick up in any regard, B, how it's picking up, and C, what you can do to either just support that or even accelerate that. For example, for me, I realized that at some point Reddit posts weren't all that important to me anymore. I didn't need Reddit posts for my videos to be viewed so and so many times. I didn't need Reddit posts to promote my content because many people already had seen it at that point or weren't interested in the first place. And I figured that I would still post on Reddit from time to time, but I wouldn't necessarily focus on Reddit as much as in the very, very early days. And that's a long time ago already, simply because I didn't see as much benefit in it. And instead, I figured I'd put more time into making content that I would not have made with Reddit in mind otherwise, and just try out more things, have fun with that, and focus more on being engaged on YouTube. And that's something else that's really important, and that's being engaged with your audience, with your viewers. I comment a lot on my videos. I still do. I used to really reply to every single comment that was there, and that's nothing typical even among small YouTubers. But over time, it just became too many comments. I do try and comment where I can, but obviously it's fallen off over time with the number of comments you get. You end up reading a lot of them, but not answering every single one of them. As such, that is something that you should consider for yourself. Do you want high interaction? Do you not want it? I would personally always recommend it, because I learned that way that many people are really happy to be able to communicate with you in one way or another, and they will come back to you as well. They will talk to you again. And they generally appreciate that you give them that time, that attention, that you take some time out of your day just to talk to them, just to write with them and answer their questions and help them out. So that's something that I would say is very important as well. Other than that, there's often the recommendation of doing collaborations to grow faster. I gotta say I haven't done that all too often. I've done some collaborations. I've done them because I enjoyed them, not to grow my channel so much. And I don't think there was any collab that ever really made my channel explode to anything before that. I know that some people are very focused on doing that, and it works very well for them. I rather do collabs when I like doing collabs with someone, and not so much when I feel like I need that to grow my channel or something. So in that regard, I may be the outlier here, but I don't really would approve of that too much if I realized someone came up to me and would want to collab simply to get more exposure themselves. To get down to the whole making money part. Now, obviously, you have to ask yourself, though, the question if that's something that you're planning on doing in the first place. And if you are, there are different approaches to that. I know that certain people do long pre-roll ads or multiple ads per video and stuff like that in order to increase their revenue. And that's definitely something that you can do, but don't have to do. And depending on that, your channel will allow you to sustain yourself earlier or later. So it's hard to say that you need so and so many subs to sustain yourself, because it depends on the kind of ads you roll, the kind of external sponsorships and stuff like that you have, and also how the cost of living is in your country. So it can differ from country to country. But really, thinking about making a living off YouTube is something that you should only focus on when you actually reach the point where you feel like you would be able to do that, or you're close to doing that, instead of planning that from the beginning, because that can horribly backfire if it doesn't work out for you. If you get to the point, then lucky you, you're among the few people who are able to do that. but it takes quite a while to get there, and it's nothing that you can force, so you will really have to see if it works out for you in that way. And that brings us to self-promotion. Self-promotion on the internet is something that is generally tolerated, not always appreciated, mostly accepted, and it depends on where you are and how you do it. The best promotion will always be the one that others do for you voluntarily, where you don't actually have to push your content anywhere and other people do that for you and say, hey, look, check this guy out, he made a good video on that then and then. Nothing better than that, really. What I did was I posted on Reddit. I thought that for gaming, for Smite, Reddit made sense. I already used Reddit heavily before I started making videos, so it was more of a natural transition to, hey, aside of my comments, I will post some videos sometimes, and that worked out very well for me. I don't think it will work out that way for everyone, and it also depends on what kind of content you're doing. I don't think every game is equally well represented on Reddit, especially console games are probably not pushed as much there. Some games, some videos for certain games you can promote better on Steam platforms and stuff like that, in forums. Some videos for other content you can promote better on Instagram, for example, when it comes to gym stuff and stuff like that. So that's something you have to consider for yourself. I would mostly recommend making a Twitter account just so you can retweet your stuff, or you can have other people retweet it, which I think works very well. But that's something you have to scout out and consider depending on your kind of video and how you think it will work best. And obviously there's something you can try around with as well and see what catches on and what doesn't. As for upload schedules, I would say that completely depends on your content. If you have heavily edited videos, then obviously you won't be able to upload every day. That's just not possible unless you have all day to just edit and cut those videos. But if you do have relatively low edits, as for example it's the case for me, and just occasionally make a heavy edited video, then you have the option to upload every day. And once again, there is this theory that YouTube heavily favors daily uploads, but I've seen plenty of channels doing well with less than daily uploads, and I do not really think that it's necessary. The benefit of daily uploads is clearly that with every upload you get revenue and you will have a relatively high amount of ads being watched overall, and that kind of brings in some money. But other than that, I could imagine there being some algorithms in the system that kind of favor the uploads, but from what I know, watch time and stuff like that is a lot more important than that. As such, I would rather release a high quality video or a video that I know my viewers will enjoy and watch every other day than some random video that I don't think anyone will actually like just to have a video on that day. So keep that in mind. Always consider where your line for quality is. Consider if it's important that, for example, a video on a certain topic has a great amount of visuals, or if you can get away with the necessities, so to speak, and as such, find your own balance depending on the content as well. I personally do this, for example, that I edit certain kinds of videos heavier than others, because I think it's just more required for those videos to have that kind of editing, while others can basically get away with just being footage in the background, as there's not too much to show in regards to that topic that needs extra editing and putting other images in and stuff like that. So that's a quick overview of what I have learned in my time in YouTube, and I think that will definitely help you on the start. If you guys are interested in hearing more about this in the regard to Twitch, I can maybe also do that, though my path on Twitch basically has always been somewhat connected with YouTube, so it may not be the most representative one, but I can still give some advice given that I know some other streamers that started in other ways as well. With that, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting for those of you who are actually interested in this topic, and apologies to those who are not. Maybe you just listen to it anyways. And I hope to see you all tomorrow for the next video. Also, I'll be doing a very long stream tomorrow, hopefully if it all works out, where I will do some requested god picks. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. See you then. Sloth out.